Do you get easily discouraged as a writer? I mean that something bad happens and you're like, that's it, I'm quitting. I'm walking away from this. Or something gets hard and you're like, okay, I must not be cut out to be a writer. That's when you're easily discouraged. My next question is, are you easily discouraged right now? And if so, what can you do about it? I've got some answers for you in this video. So how can you tell if you're someone who's easily discouraged? I certainly never would have thought this about myself until I started looking into it. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of was that for a long time in my writing career. For example, I remember getting just one rejection letter and then not submitting my story for another 6 months because I was so discouraged by that one rejection letter. That's easily discouraged. Maybe you can relate. But at the time, I didn't chalk that up to being easily discouraged. I just thought that I was really failing, that I really didn't have what it took to be a good writer. Looking back now, I can see that I was easily discouraged. So here's some signs that you too might be easily discouraged. See if you relate to any of these. So you start a lot of projects only to abandon them halfway through. You tend to doubt yourself and secretly believe that you're not good enough to be a successful writer. Negative feedback on your work has caused you to give up on it. You go through mood swings related to your writing. Some days you feel great, other days you're ready to quit. You go through long periods of not writing, caused by discouragement or self-doubt, interspersed with shorter periods of writing. If any of those sounded familiar, congratulations. Join the club. You're one of us easily discouraged writers. So why does this happen? Why can we be so easily discouraged? Let's talk about that. Here are the top 3 reasons why writers are often easily discouraged. The first one is that we don't realize how tough this gig is going to be when we first get into it. Most of us start off writing with this kind of idealistic view in mind of how we're going to write this story and publish it and everybody's going to love it. We don't really understand what we're in for, but let's say even if we knew the journey wasn't going to be easy, the difficulty of building a successful writing career can take us by surprise. Writing itself is challenging enough, and then you add to that the responsibility of building an author platform, marketing your own work, and maintaining an active readership, and you have something that's usually way more difficult than most writers think it'll be when they first start out. When you don't realize how tough the writing gig is going to be, you can go into it with unrealistic expectations and become easily discouraged when you face some of the challenges that all writers have to inevitably face. I remember when I first started writing, I thought all I got to do is become a good enough writer to get a traditional publishing contract and then I'll be on my way to writing career success. Believing that being chosen by a publisher would bring me the success I was looking for, but believing that that publisher is somehow going to usher in this big readership for you and this success for you that maybe you're dreaming of is naive, because oftentimes that is not what happens. When you start to feel like everybody else has the control but you, and that you're knocking on these doors and none of them are opening, it's really natural to feel easily discouraged, even to the point that you think maybe you should quit writing. Until you make a solid decision to commit wholeheartedly to this goal of building a successful writing career, you're likely to be easily discouraged. But I have committed to this goal, you might say. I would ask you to think again, because if you're getting easily discouraged, you probably have not. Maybe you were dipping your toe in and trying a little bit, see what happened, and then when things didn't go really well right away, you thought, okay, this must not be for you. That means you haven't wholly committed to this goal of becoming a successful writer. Angela Duckworth, the author of that really well-known book, Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, she mentioned this in her research. She wrote that some people get easily discouraged while others don't because some people fail to fully commit. Imagine 2 people who decide they're going to walk across country to raise money for some special cause. One person fully commits to this goal. They're saying, I'm making it from California to Maine, no matter what. And the other person says, yeah, I think this would be a good idea. Let's give this a try. See the difference there? So after about 500 miles into the journey, the person who is just going to give it a try is struggling with blisters on their feet and their muscles are killing them and they're having to take a bunch of aspirin and, the support they thought they were going to have is dwindling out and they're like, okay, this isn't what I bargained for. I'm out. The other person that fully committed to getting to Maine no matter what is going to do whatever they have to do to get there. That's the difference between fully committing to building a successful writing career or just giving it a try. There's nothing wrong with either approach. If you just want to give it a try, you certainly can, but then don't be surprised if you are easily discouraged by setbacks along the way. okay. We all go through times in our writing careers when we're not sure writing is for us. I spent years just kind of with one foot out the door, not sure if this was for me or not. That's totally normal, but eventually we have to realize that if we really want success, we're going to have to commit to this goal, because most of the time this is such a difficult goal to reach that we can't get there half-heartedly. We have to fully commit all of our resources and all of our energy and all of our intention behind this goal. As long as you're still in that place where you're not sure, then you're going to be vulnerable to easy discouragement. The first step is to realize that what we're trying to do is not easy. We have to manage our expectations. It's going to take time. It's going to take failing and getting up and trying again, and failing and getting up and trying again. This is a difficult goal that we're trying to reach, to build a successful writing career. Understanding that it takes time and experience and a lot of hard work, and appreciating that setbacks are normal, and that for a lot of your career, no one's going to take note of what you're doing hardly at all. If you go into this thing expecting it's going to be hard, expecting it's going to be difficult, and expecting it's going to take time, and you're going to have failures, then you're less likely to get easily discouraged by those failures. It's not up to the publishing industry, it's not up to some editor, it's not up to some agent, it's not up to some publisher. It's easy to feel that way. But as long as you believe that, you're going to feel easily discouraged, because you're going to feel disempowered. Instead, you want to choose yourself. And by the way, I highly recommend James Altucher's book by the same name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll put the link in the description below. Today's publishing world allows you to take total control of your career. You can hire your own editors, your own cover designers, polish your own work, and publish it yourself. And then, of course, you have to go on and market it yourself. Yes, you can still traditionally publish if you want, but again, you have control over that. You can decide if you want to try that, and you can decide who you're going to submit your manuscript to, and you can decide what you're going to do if that doesn't pan out for you. Understand that writing success is within your control, and you can take steps to reach the success that you want to reach if you're willing to put the hard work into it. The main message here is not to give your power away to anybody else. Realize that you can always take your power back, and you can take steps to support your own work and choose yourself. By the way, if you're thinking of going the self-publishing route and you haven't before, be sure to check out my self-publishing success plan. The link is in the description below. It will give you all the steps you need to take to self-publish your own book. If your goal is to be a successful writer, first you have to define what that means to you. What is success to you? Does it mean you're earning a certain amount of money off your book sales? Or that your books are selling so many copies? Or that you have so many readers waiting for your next book? Or that you're simply feeling more confident and stronger about the stories you're creating? Once you decide what success is, then make a firm commitment to that goal. No going back after that. Angela Duckworth, that I mentioned before, wrote about this as well. She said that once people make a commitment, they tend to see setbacks differently. They're not so easily discouraged. Here's a quote from her. "In an all-in frame of mind, setbacks, however painful and discouraging as they may be, particularly in the moment, are reframed as lessons learned." When you fully commit to this goal you have, whatever you've defined it as, any setbacks or failures or trip-ups along the way, you can then see them as fodder for your education. You can learn something from every one of those, and you can get better. Each of those missteps shows you what doesn't work. When you look at it that way, you're not so easily discouraged. All you have to do is figure out why that didn't work, try something else, and then most likely you're going to experience a higher level success after that. Step number 4, and this one's going to sound a little funny, but to avoid feeling easily discouraged, simply tell yourself this, and this really works because I've tried it. I am not easily discouraged. This is just self-talk. When you are with yourself and you're sitting down to write, or whatever the case may be, or you just got that rejection, you just got that 2-star review, and you say to yourself, you know what? That's fine. I'm not easily discouraged. I'm going to keep going. You say this to yourself, and you train your brain to respond a certain way to these setbacks and so-called failures. Retired president of Chick-fil-A, Jimmy Collins, had this to say about this. "I wanted to be one of those who conquered discouragement. My method is simple. I tell myself I am not easily discouraged." Once I heard this, I've tried it, and it does work. It does help. It gets you away from the victim frame of mind. We can all feel like victims when we get that 2-star review or that rejection, or the book doesn't sell as well, and readers aren't reading my book. It's their fault. It's the publishing industry's fault. It's Amazon's fault. Whatever. We can start to feel like victims. If we say to ourselves, I am not easily discouraged, that brings back that fighting spirit. That brings back that resilient mindset. I'm going to keep going. Something didn't work here. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to do better next time. So here's what you do. The next time you get a piece of bad news and you start sliding into that discouraged place, you say this to yourself. Look in the mirror and say, I am not easily discouraged. Even better if you use your name. Scientists have found that when you talk to yourself in the third person, it's a very effective way of motivating yourself. And it gets results. Athletes often do this. So you say, Colleen, you're not easily discouraged. And you obviously would put in your name. Try it. It works. If you're feeling easily discouraged, it is completely normal. Try to take these 4 steps and see if they will help. I think the most important one is simply telling yourself that you are not easily discouraged. Get that fighting spirit going again in your heart and tackle your writing dreams one more time. If you need some more help on overcoming self-doubt, getting past these discouragements, check out my self-doubt survival guide. The link to that is below. Good luck. I'll see you next time.